I'm going to explain to you Agile culture and leadership for high performance training, also known as Certified Agile Leadership Training or CAL1. Hi, I'm Michael Sahota. I'm a certified enterprise coach with the Scrum Alliance. I've got 20 years of IT. I originally started in software roles, very quickly move on to management roles such as director and executive roles such as vice president. And I know in depth what it takes to get products delivered as well as introduce Agile to teams. I got involved with Agile very early on in my career for about 15 years now as simply just a sensible, ordinary, very common sense way to deliver projects to get great results. And what I have spent my last 10 years doing is very much focused on culture and leadership because I realized that actually introducing Agile into organizations is a significant challenge, that it's often so different from business as usual that we need to approach it in very different ways than business as usual to actually be successful with it. I also am a keynote speaker and have a worldwide blog that's very, very popular. I've recently written a book with my co-author Audrey Tara, Emotional Science. This is about self-leadership. It's about how we as leaders manage our emotions so that we can actually perform fully as the leaders that we want to. The Culture and Leadership book that I'm working on, this is a culmination of the last 6 years of my work in terms of consulting, in terms of coaching others, in terms of training others, is coming out later this year or early next year. So let's get into Agile. It's embedded all over the world. It's considered the best practice for software development. And yet, 90% of Agile transformations fail. They either fail outright, they introduce conflict, or they do not get the desired benefits that people are hoping for. If we look at industry research from version 1, for example, this is 50,000 teams, thousands of companies, we can see that people have a great chance to get started with Agile, but when they try to get the full benefits to make it actually really work, 63% report the company philosophy or culture is at odds with Agile core values, and that 45% or almost half of Agile initiatives do not actually have management support. So somehow Agile is going very badly wrong with management, with leadership. So unless we actually understand leadership, it's hard to actually get Agile working properly. Other research from Scrum Alliance shows that Agile is challenged, that we have challenges with command and control management approaches, so traditional business as usual, people resisting change, and challenges actually making it successful throughout the organization. This is like the state of the industry right now. It's actually, I'd say, in disarray and quite significantly challenged. And that's where we come in. So our training, the key benefits that people get from our training is this ability to overcome 90% of the challenges of Agile transformation. So if we look at Agile transformations where we go wrong, we cover off how to overcome those challenges. The second thing is to develop organizational culture, to shift your organizational culture from where it is to one that aligns with higher levels of performance. We could also talk about this as going deeper into the Agile mindset or innovation mindset. We help people develop their leadership capability. We show people a way to discover how they perhaps have a very important role in their personal behavior to shift and get results. And finally, everything that we teach is usable at any level of the hierarchy. It doesn't require your whole organization to change. It's just any director, VP, executive manager can make these changes within their part of the organization without requiring anyone else to change. So 6 years ago, I wrote this book, An Agile Adoption and Transformation Survival Guide, working with organizational culture. This was my attempt to save the Agile industry. 6 years ago, the number one challenge with Agile was organizational culture. Today, the number one challenge with Agile is organizational culture. I've been working, researching, experimenting, practicing things with my clients to come up with a system that works, that actually helps organizations make changes. This is not something that I've just come up with. Students who are leaders in their own right all over the world who come to these trainings have validated this information, have validated this approach, and gotten their own incredible results. So this is our unique differentiator, the Sahota system. It has three aspects to it. in our training, we give you wisdom and knowledge, so information, ways of seeing the world, the mindset and behavioral shifts you need. So information by itself isn't helpful without actually being able to behave and function in different ways. And finally, tactics and tools. So you have very practical things you can do on a day-to-day basis to shift yourself and your organizational system towards higher performance. What we're sharing here through this training is what's aligned with the CAL1 from Scrum Alliance. And we've gotten extraordinary feedback from 800 leaders all over the world on how they've applied this and how they've gotten results. So our unique differentiator, let's go into the wisdom and knowledge. What we give you in our training is to understand that culture, leadership, and organizational change are not three different subject areas. They're actually one thing. It's like an elephant. We all know the story of the blind man touching the elephant, how they think it's, one thinks it's a post, one thinks it's a wall, one thinks it's a spear. That when we actually understand that these are all aspects of one shared thing, then we can actually operate and make changes to our organization in intelligent, effective ways that lead to lasting change and ongoing growth. A key part of this, and I'm going to continue to go through some of the elements of the wisdom and knowledge, is consciously approaching high performance. So when we think about Agile or DevOps or digital or fill in the blank for whatever the flavor du jour is, when we create an organizational environment or culture system that supports it, of course it will work. We know this. There are many, many case studies, and the leaders are the ones who are creating that. So by taking it step by step to understand how is this process set up so that we actually approach change in a much more intelligent way to give us lasting high performance. Another aspect that we go into is, well, what actually is high performance and what actually is culture and leadership that allow us to move in this way? So we go through one model, the Sahota culture model, which is a way to understand and diagnose organizational culture. And we use a modified version of Frederick Liu's model from Reinventing Organizations to understand what does high performance culture actually look like, and tie in case studies and research to show, well, yeah, there is such a thing as high performance culture. And there are many different ways to get there, but understanding using these kind of tools to understand where you are and where you might want to grow. Let's talk a moment now for some of the mindset and behavioral shifts that we cover to allow you to really put this into deep practice and get deep, lasting results from this training. One thing is to hack into deep learning. It turns out the most important learning is actually unlearning. It's about finding those assumptions, those beliefs that you have today that are actually not serving you, that are actually causing you to make decisions that lead to low performance. The other thing is the Sahota 4A's conscious leadership model. What this model does is it helps you identify yourself, what is your leadership star on the horizon, and then how do you choose to grow yourself in that direction? How do you choose to develop yourself? What's important for you? What are the leadership edges or blocks that are preventing you from delivering and leading in a higher performance way right now? And we give you a very practical step-by-step model that you can apply to shift through your habits, through your behavioral edges, through things that may have been there for a long time. Finally, we give you very practical tactics and tools. I'll walk through a couple of them. The most important one is what we call the Sahota Playbook for high performance. It's actually a step-by-step guide to what you can do to move your organizational system in a coherent way towards high performance. Not only the steps that you need to take, but also what are the key practices or behaviors that you need to master in order to accomplish this. High performance decision making. We know that if we want to have a high performance organization, we need high performance decision making. So one thing we talk about is decision making being the genetic code for control, that when we unlock decision making in our organization, we actually unlock our organization's ability to perform at much, much higher levels. It turns out that we don't actually need to throw away the hierarchy, which some people suggest we need to do. It turns out we don't need to throw away a hierarchy. That's actually hazardous and damaging. What we do need to do is improve the way we make decisions by gradually, in a very safe way, giving control and decisions to people so they can make better decisions in a safe, controlled way so that we only give the right amount of control at the right time. So what we do to support this is give you the advice process with decision cards. So there's a very practical, tangible tool to support clarifying how decisions are made, who actually gets to make decisions to get to better decision making immediately for your organization. We also go through the fist of five decision making so that you can make sure that you don't fall into the consensus trap or the design by committee trap. So you can actually get to better decisions when groups of people are making decisions together. Now, what we're sharing here has been taught all over the world. We've gotten extraordinary feedback on this program, both immediately after the training as well as for people in the field reporting the results that they've gotten. I'm going to share you one story. Here's Noel, who's a director at I think it's a several hundred person company at Global Daily Fantasy Sports. And his news headline is incredible ROI in just 6 weeks. This is what Noel had to say. This week, my company launched a new network in Italy with 2 of the biggest online gaming companies in the world. Under extreme pressure, we got the performance of a lifetime out of the 2 teams assigned to launch this network. I basically just got out of the way and let the team shine. It wouldn't have happened without my 5 days in CAL. Wanted to share with you how appreciative I am. I want to point out that what he says there, I basically just got out of the way. This is the trick. It's about how to let teams make decisions that they need to make and help them make those decisions in a way that enables them and supports them and lets them feel like they're in control. Of course, Noel was involved. Of course, he helped guide them, but he did it in a way that allowed them to take ownership and feel responsibility that was needed for them to execute at their best. And by the way, he's now vice president at his organization. That's how successful he's been in applying this information and showing up as a different kind of leader. So this is what we're giving people here, the people who take this, whether it's for managers, directors, executives. It's really the secret sauce of understanding high performance. What does it really take, and how to move through your behavioral edges that are blocking you from showing up in this way. So after the training, we don't just leave you there. We understand that this is a journey. I'm on my leadership journey still. We're all on our journeys. So what we do to support you on an ongoing basis is we actually have a free monthly integration call, which is a live Zoom call with question and answer, so that together with peers all over the world, you can share and discuss questions and explore ideas for how to be successful using this information. We also have a CAL2, which is a 3-day training plus peer development program that goes on over a few months. We have leadership deep dive training to help clear away deep unconscious blocks that are actually limiting performance. We also have a mentoring and coaching programs for one-on-one coaching or group coaching. We have an online training, which is equivalent to the CAL1, equivalent to this training, that we use to allow people to access this information, even if they're not, if they're geographically dispersed or they're not able to make a certain training. We also provide consulting on Agile transformation, how to understand what's going wrong with your Agile transformation and get it working. We're experts in this, so we can discover in a matter of a few hours, a few days, and pinpoint exactly what's going wrong and help you understand what steps to take to remedy the situation. Thanks for listening. Please feel free to reach out and connect with me on LinkedIn or visit my website. There's a free book download there if you want, or my blog has significant portions of this information posted, so you get a flavor and deeper feel for what's actually in this training. Check out more information on this training as well as online training. Thank you so much for listening. I hope to see you soon in a live class or on a phone call. Bye-bye.